Okay, very short roll call. What is it, January 9th, Norwalk Arts and Cultural Commission meeting. Brian Casper, chair, present. Stephen Rust.
Steve Rust, present, voting member.
Melissa Matuska.
Melissa Matuska, voting member here.
And Mark Allen.
Mark Allen, voting member here.
Thank you all for being here and taking some time out. All right, let's just start working our way down the agenda. Sabrina, so you said first up is budget.
Yep, because we can't vote on the minutes.
Yep.
First up, budget, just a little update. We had the Hootsuite bill come in, so that'll be coming out of the operating budget that we have. But other than that, there were no major expenses besides Telesco. Our capital budget has not changed. However, we did create a purchase order for MJ and Josh. So the $50,000 for that has come out, quote unquote. We haven't spent it yet, but it kind of sets it aside. Same thing for Annika and the You Are Not Alone folks. So their contract amount is now out and set aside.
Perfect.
So essentially it just lock boxes it for them, even though it's not technically out of our budget. It's just in an account separate for them now.
Great.
For the capital budget process and the operating budget process, we didn't ask for any more money in the operating, so I'm confident that we'll get what we've been getting. For the capital request, Brian, I know you'll talk a little bit about the mural festival idea, and we requested for that $250,000 in the budget. I will go to the Planning and Zoning Commission on the 19th of January to plead our case for the capital budget requests. So the one that's in there is the mural festival for the 250, which is the Art in Public Places account. And then the second request that we have in there is the public art inventory, which is $166,000. So those will be the two things that I'll be talking about on January 19th.
Let me know if you would like any of us to show up to any of those things.
Yeah.
I am noting that Bob Abriola and Nori Gruden have joined us. We now have a quorum.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Nice.
I'm on
All good.
call here, so I'm trying to do two calls at the same time. So I'm gonna go back and forth and mute. Sorry, I'm late
Okay.
today.
All good.
Yep.
Well, Sabrina just went over the
Sorry I'm
budget stuff,
late.
so all good. We're here now. That's what matters. Sabrina just went over budget stuff for you anyway, Bob. So, and I know there's really no updates there anyway. So,
Yeah, and
Okay.
I shared the Excel file with you guys, so you should have that updated when I emailed that.
great.
Brian,
Okay.
do we want to back up and do we have a quorum now for the minutes?
Oh yeah, good call. Yes, so let's back up and slide back one note here to approve the minutes from 2 months ago. It's November 14th. Remember, we didn't have a meeting in December. Do we have a motion to approve these minutes? Or rather, sorry, does anyone have any additions or corrections first before we do that? I'm quickly reading now.
What was the date of that meeting?
November 14th. Okay. Yeah, this all seems fine to me. Does anyone have any additions or corrections to it? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve these minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Stephen. Second?
I can second the motion. I'll have to abstain from the vote because I don't.
Okay,
believe I
thanks.
was-
Brian Casper, I vote to approve these minutes. Aye. Stephen Rust?
Aye.
Melissa Matuska?
Aye.
Mark Allen is abstaining, and Bob Abriola
Aye.
and Nori Gruden.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The ayes carry. The minutes from November 14th have been approved. Hooray. Okay, moving on. Actually, before we move on, Sabrina, do you have anything else? RE budget.
Nope, that was it. And for the
Okay.
people who just weren't
Cool.
here, just to go quickly, we haven't had any major expenses besides a Hootsuite expenditure that will be coming out. That'll be reflected on the next kind of meetings budget. And on January 19th, I will be going with the capital requests, which are the $250,000 in the Art and Public Places account and $166,000 for a public art inventory. Those are our two requests. So I'll be taking those on the 19th at 9 a.m. to chat about those with the Planning and Zoning Commission. And that's kind of the first step in the budgetary process for us. And our
Great.
operating budget has stayed flat. So I'm confident we'll get what we asked for.
Excellent. Thank you, Sabrina. All right, so sliding down our agenda here, events update from Ava. Ava is clearly not present, so we're going to slide over that. But I am sort of tasked in here in the events update with the Public Art Festival as well. I want to just quickly chat about those other two items you mentioned before, which were the You're Not Alone murals and the Monroe Street underpass. As Sabrina mentioned, those funds have been secured and in some sort of pseudo lockbox situation. So I want to get those things on the calendar soon, as soon as we can. Let's talk about Monroe first. There was the thing that came up in City Council was that they'd like for us to hold some sort of community engagement event or discussion about the design, which frankly I think is frustrating because these are public and no one shows up. But I am looking for
The
ideas.
design of what?
This
Sorry,
is
the
Monroe
design
Street.
of what?
Monroe
Yeah.
Street. So I'm looking for, I would be hoping that a few
Got
of
it.
us could be there to kind of speak to it, especially my ex/fellow infrastructure committee members, Stephen, Melissa, and Bob, who are all here. It'd be great if sort of the four of us, or at least half of us, could do one of those little community events. My impression is that it'd be something similar to what Julio did when he did the MLK project stuff, where we kind of had kind of a little showing, allow the public to comment on it. Anyway, we all know how a horse by committee can go. I'm hoping that that goes in the right direction.
I
And
know
we can-
about what date you're looking to do this. Sorry, I'm being in, I'm having a C-section on the 29th.
No, I mean, no, it's pretty open. I think we're hoping to install or begin the installation of this mural, and I think May was kind of the month we had penciled in with Josh and MJ. So ideally, I would say, probably before March. I don't think it's imperative that all of us are there. I was just kind of saying it'd be nice that I'm not just the only one basically defending our decisions. But by all means, if you if you have a newborn, I'm not going to expect you to come. But by all means, I'd love to have you. Bring the baby too. So anyway, so that's kind of where we left it with City Council.
So who has to
Yeah.
attend that? Who has to attend that meeting? And not from us, but I mean, who else is probably going to be there?
I think this is coming mainly, correct me if I'm wrong, Sabrina, but from the council members that represent that district are requesting that.
So the council members that are representing the district just want the community to have some input on what we've decided. So essentially we'll hold some sort of small event where, it's educational about the piece and what it is somewhere in the neighborhood. That should satisfy kind of what they're looking for.
Yep.
I
So
think it's a good, actually, I think it's a good opportunity in a way because, as we're moving forward, commissioning more, hopefully more work, and we can sort of put our process on display for how we
True.
sort of
True.
curated this entire thing, so they understand that there's a depth to what we're doing and not just,
Right.
Brian,
picking up pieces of
we
catalog.
Brian, we skipped public participation. I think it's because we didn't have a quorum. But there is a council member, Heather Dunn is here and her hand is raised. So if you want to give her
Oh.
some time to talk, that'd probably be good.
sure. Why don't we jump on that? We'll come back to this. This is mostly just updates and discussion anyway. So by all means, let's hear from Heather.
All right. Heather, I just allowed you to talk, so you should be able to unmute.
How are you?
Hi,
Yes,
Heather.
I'm here because I don't like to comment on things that I don't have information about. But the concern wasn't about community engagement. It was that if we're flying people out here, artists specifically, I actually work at Norwalk High School, and the AP art students.
Mhm.
There's a whole project that has to do with murals, and it would be really important for them to have the opportunity to interact with professional mural artists, to see what it entails to do that for a living, especially somebody that's able to write a grant and fill out RFPs and stuff like that. So it wasn't so much about the community that had concern, but that there's no educational component built into it.
Okay,
That's
but I absolutely relish in those sort of opportunities.
the other
sorry,
thing that I
continue.
do know, sorry, just one more thing. I was involved in most of the murals that were put up around the city over past 20 years, probably. And the more community engagement you do have, the less graffiti you're going to get and things like that, because especially if people are hanging around and they were involved, they're more likely to make sure that people are not tagging it and stuff like that. So that's
Sure.
just my other comment about it.
Sure.
Points.
Yeah, I
Good
would
with
say
that.
that. So, MJ and Josh, the artists for this mural, have told me, I agree with you. I think these sort of things are always good. Coming from someone who grew up in an environment but was not an artistic one, the more opportunities we can give to our youngest citizens, the better, to show them that there's a real possibility here. So I have spoken to MJ and Josh already about either whether it be discussions, visiting high schools, any of these sort of things, and they're so on board with it. They also come from really unique backgrounds too, so I think it could speak to a diverse audience as well. So I totally agree with you. And side note, I'm also a professional artist, as is basically everybody here. So you want us to come, I would love to come talk to your students.
Okay.
So
I
by all
will,
means.
you have my email, but I'll try to email you
Yep.
the head of the art department. I know McMahon has something similar, but it's the AP studio art teacher, I think, that you need to talk to. And
Yeah.
they're really looking for professional artists to come in and talk to the artists the students that are going to art school and developing portfolios.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity. I totally agree.
And the other question, since it's actually public comment, there was a question about the mural on the side on Washington Street, it's like a boat. You were talking about that, I think,
Oh,
at the last
man.
meeting. That's actually Rick Morgan, and he is a Bridgeport artist, and he lives, he works in the fabric building. Okay.
God, the day we can have a meeting where this mural isn't brought up will be.
Yeah.
No, it just said
No,
you
it's
didn't know who
fine.
it was, and I'm just telling you who it was.
Okay.
He was
I-
one of the founders of the Sono Art Celebration back in the 70s, 80s, and he's still around. He owned
Yeah.
Morgan Sign Shop, and he's working in Bridgeport now. So
Mhm.
So Heather, I can update you
Yes.
on that.
okay.
Breck is he's a good friend of ours.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And we work with him quite a lot. He has been really, really active in wanting to redo the mural, and we've been talking to him quite a lot about that.
Okay.
Hold up on that is simply that there's some remediation that has to happen with that building itself concerning lead paint on the building. So they
Yep.
can't, the condo association involved has to deal with that before we can deal with just the one piece, which is the mural itself. So it's a much bigger picture that unfortunately has to get solved before we can take any steps to restore or even replace that mural piece. But Breck is committed to the project, and we're hoping that it will go forward sooner than later.
That's great. He's really good. I just wanted to give you the name in case you guys didn't know, because it looked like from the minutes that you weren't sure who actually did it. So thank you very much. That's it.
Of course.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I just want to speak to what Heather said briefly. This is something that we've talked about, which is creating opportunities for the young artists in Norwalk. I mean, there are people that link muralism with graffiti, and sure, I'm not going to say there isn't an aspect of graffiti that is vandalism, but more often than not, it's young people who have artistic spirit that don't have the opportunity to develop their creativity. and they're looking to, you know, to have their artwork be seen. That's what I see it, how I see it, quite frankly. I feel like we can address graffiti in a very positive way by giving opportunities to young people. And I agree with Heather that, well, we want to promote Norwalk as a venue of quality artwork, and bringing in professional artists from around the country is definitely an opportunity for us to do that. We want to, you know, we don't want to leave our young people out of that process, and we want to educate them however possible. And I think that we will be inspiring the muralists of tomorrow by doing this.
For sure. Yeah, anything we can do to foster any kind of proprietary interest in any sort of public art will only help aid in that. All the points that two of you are bringing up, I totally agree. Okay, thanks again, Heather, for jumping in and participating. We never get outsiders.
I know, it's very exciting for all of us.
This is definitely my wheelhouse, as you can tell. I was
Great.
president of Sono Art Celebration and involved in a lot of the public art installations. A lot of them have gone, the art under the bridge is gone, but my star is still in City Hall, so.
Okay, there we
very
go.
important.
And
All right,
Heather-
thanks a
Heather,
lot.
Tomorrow I'll connect you with Brian, and I'll also
Yes.
connect you with Naomi, who's specifically interested in connecting kind of Norwalk Public Schools and the arts. So I'll put you all in an email together.
Okay,
That'd be
thanks.
great.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So then to piggyback on that, and just to kind of wrap up what I was saying about Monroe Street is, you know, now that this is all sort of like set, money set aside, contracts, all these things are in place. I'd like to get those dates set so we can get some of these things rolling. And whatever, that's basically it. We need to do this community participation bit, which includes, you know, what Heather said, but what some other council members have brought up, which is fine. We'll just have to find an opportunity to do that and see who shows up and what they have to say about it.
Brian,
and then the
yeah,
other,
I'd be happy to show up and participate in that
Thanks.
too. So just
appreciate it.
send it out to everyone. Thanks.
Yeah. And then the other one that we have on the books that Sabrina mentioned, which is the You Are Not Alone mural at Brian McMahon. Also, I basically gave Annika the green light on that today, since no one had any major issues with the designs that were sent over. I'm letting them choose and dictate which of those three they prefer, and they are hoping to set a date in early May. I'm having Annika work specifically with the high school to arrange the best time to do that. I think they're probably going to pick a 3-day weekend or something. So they have that little extra time. So school isn't in session, in session and running equipment. So that's that. That's basically ready to rock. And then to, you know, slide into this other piece that I've mentioned a couple of times, and now, you know, we actually have for budget requests and things in it, which is the Public Art Festival, which is very vague right now, mostly because we don't know if we're getting the money or what we're getting for it. It's going to probably be kind of an all hands on deck situation, but I would like to get, you know, a little bit of a subcommittee going for it so we can kind of start to divide and conquer some of the nuts and bolts of this. Right now, the way this looks, and I'm probably repeating myself a little bit, the way this looks right now is the Baywater Industrial Park, which is literally adjacent to Lauren's the Tree of Life, I forget what she titled it, that mural, and it's right behind Wilson Avenue Artist Lofts. It's that entire block of industrial buildings. That's all one owner. It's David Genovese of Baywater Properties in Darien. He has shown interest in basically using this as sort of the site for a public art festival. And I think it's ideal for a lot of reasons. One being it's self-contained. It's one place. It's, you know, everybody loves to use the example of like Wynwood Walls. This is basically Norwalk space where we could do a Wynwood Walls situation that maybe every year, every other year, we would do this. That's the hope. And it would change. They're all big, beautiful, blank cinder block walls. It wouldn't really require any street closing. It would allow for pedestrian only access through this whole area. So that's kind of like the dream for the site. In terms of, I sort of counted the spaces there's something like 20 to 25 individual spaces we could paint all at once in this, it would be so dynamic.
Awesome.
It'd be such a blast off. And again, the idea would be that the artists would come, start painting, and be finishing during this festival. So during, let's say, a Saturday. And everybody's kind of working all at the same time. Everybody, gets to see it all happen all once in conjunction with, of course, music and all these other things we can do, vendors and food trucks and art vendors and all that. That's kind of the hope. So the $250,000 budget request is basically covering artist stipends if we were to paint all of them. Now, some are small, some are big, so those stipends really run the gamut. I just kind of rounded it out to more or less $10,000 a piece. The hope, of course, would be that we would get sponsors. We'd get, United Rentals to donate lifts, and Rings End to donate paint, and, Montana Cans to donate spray paint or whatever it is. So that way, that's basically artist stipend that covers their travel and their time and effort, and then everything else is covered for them. And we would use sponsorship, vendor booth sales, food truck sales, etc., to bridge the gap for any of these other costs we're going to have to incur, such as, if we need to hire security or the police department, trash pickup, all those extra things, having ARC do the stage, whatever it is. So really, realistically, if it's going to be this big, powerful, impactful thing, I mean, truthfully, you really start to put the numbers together, and I'm doing very, very generalized budget. It's like nearly $500,000. $500,000. And that's just like to do everything start to finish, everything all in. So the hope is that now that we can accept money from sponsors, that we can get, local businesses and things to maybe sponsor a wall. And then that $10,000 for that artist can be used for whatever, parking shuttles or something. That's really the gist. And I kind of want to just get it out there and get everyone kind of thinking about it. If we can't do all 25, so be it. We'll chip off. It kind of depends on what comes in terms of money, which is what Sabrina and I talked about. If we don't get approved for $250,000 for this, then okay, what do we have? We have 100. All right, what can we do with 100? Maybe we do 10 now, we do 10 next year, something like that. So it really kind of depends, but I want everybody to just kind of start thinking about it. Also start thinking about ways in which we can start to approach donors, whether that be, companies or just private individuals. I'd also like to have an opportunity for all of our art institutions to be here and have a space to talk about what they do, as really just the launch of everything. Yeah, I mean, all of it, it's if we don't end up using that location, I think the plan B would be to find spaces throughout the city, which I've seen other cities do this too. And then every year there's just a new wall. You kind of move around and you eventually scatter this out, and it just become, and then you get mural maps. And then, I mean, I think St. Petersburg, which obviously is significantly larger than us, they have something like 600 murals, all done through their one mural festival over the course of like 10 years or something. That's an insane amount of public art. And some of them are small and some of them are massive. So this is the hope. This is the dream.
If there is a subcommittee for this, I would like to volunteer for that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so Melissa, I'd help with that.
Great. And I think, this can be sort of our very public facing, sort of flag that we're putting in this thing, like, this is the Norwalk Arts and Cultural Commission. This is what we're all about. We want to see you come to meetings. We want to see you volunteer at things. We want to see you donate a wall or donate money or donate your time or whatever it is. That's it. Like I said, it all kind of depends on what we get from City Hall. But yeah, lots to do. And I'm hoping, my dream is to do this in September. And someone said that maybe it was a good idea to do it during Sono Arts Festival, and someone said it was a bad idea to do it during Sono Arts Festival. But like, maybe it's just like that's the whole weekend. Is like art is everywhere. I don't know. But September, late September, early October, I think would be really ideal for something like this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I agree.
That's it. That's what I got about that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with money. And if we don't get it, then we'll just use it to to do other events, and if we get a whole lot less than we expected, we just do more big pieces to start to show interest in it, and then we can use that as sort of the proving ground for maybe next year. So anyone questions, comments about that before we slide into our next bits? What do we got here? So yeah, start mulling it over, ways we can do that. Okay, next on the agenda would be the teaching fellowship, which Naomi is not here. She did tell me that she has been in touch with the Board of Ed. They're very interested in doing this to refresh everyone. She's trying to develop a teaching fellowship that would have a professional artist basically kind of sort of living and working here and participating specifically with the high schools, maybe elementary school too. I'm not sure what her exact plan is at. She's using the Guggenheim Teaching Fellowship as sort of the framework for this, which is a wildly successful program. But she's been in touch with the Board of Ed. They're kind of hashing out some of the details now, and they seem very interested in it. Again, she's looking for people to kind of help her with that a little bit. I know Danny has shown interest. So yeah, that's kind of all I have. I was hoping she would be here because she said she had been talking to them a lot. Moving down, we have the equity statement update from Mark. You got something for us, Mark?
Yes, I do, actually. It took some time to really nail down some folks to consult with on this. I've been pretty passionate about pushing this forward, but I'm I would not consider myself an expert on equity by any means. I met with Latoya Fernandez, and we had a great meeting, and we talked about some of the goals, and she did come up with a draft, which I'm going to submit to you guys. But before I did that, I wanted to also take that draft and submit it to Erica at the Fairfield Cultural Alliance. And I have done that. And I'm waiting for her to send me back some amendments and suggest notes, etc. One of the things we talked about, I would say a recurring theme has been to not just to adopt language that fits, but to really sort of use that language as a lens by which we can really look at our practices, our policies, and future programs to make sure that we are being, striving towards a more equitable practice, I should say. I think the most recurring thing that I've heard is people, they just don't want to see us check the box. They want us to see us put words and action and to be able to strive towards a more equitable future for and access for to arts. That's not easy to do. It kind of takes a new mindset in looking at ways that there are inequities in things that we don't always see, it's a process. And so that's the recurring theme, is not just to create the statement, but to really take an honest look at, how we've been operating and how we can operate in the future. So
that's great. Yeah, I mean, as you said before, it's long overdue. So I'm glad that it's finally got some legs and it's moving. So, okay, cool. I look forward to hearing what Erica has to say about it and seeing what you and Latoya have come up with.
Yeah, I had asked them both if when we do come up with the final draft, if either of them would be interested in coming to one of our meetings to sort of, because not everybody gets what it's about. People know it's kind of a good thing, but they don't necessarily understand it. And I'm probably not the best to explain it either. So,
okay,
hopefully one
Excellent.
or both of them will come.
No, thanks, Mark. Anyone else have any updates for us? And Bob, I think. Oh no, I see Bob's thing. Bob's traffic boxes after this. Anyone else have any other updates?
I do have an update. I don't know. It could be construed as new business, so I don't want to, it's not on the agenda, so I don't want to go there, but I guess it could tie into arts and public places and capital budgets to some request. if I could have the latitude to sort of
Sure.
get in. If you guys remember, we discussed last meeting, one of the last meetings, I had brought up the potential for a sculpting project to come out of the materials from the walk bridge.
Yeah.
Since that time, actually this week, in fact, I got an email from the people doing the walk bridge project, reopening the door to salvaging some materials for a future sculpting project. And they asked me, they said they had, based on my original meeting with them, going back to the Arts Commission, they had earmarked certain materials that
Oh.
that we had discussed. And a lot of some of this would be in conjunction from the Signal House. Some of the things that we talked about saving were like some of the signage and
Yeah.
some of the fixtures and things like that. So they asked me if I wanted to come back for another walkthrough this Friday at either 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. if anybody's interested in joining.
Yeah.
One thing. And then back when that project was discussed originally, there's a Norwalk artist whose name is Mark, I think it's Zarif with the Z. I met him through the Sono Arts Festival. He's a sculptor in Norwalk who does metal work, and he had offered to potentially store some of this material pending some future arts commission for a project. So I've been talking to him with him. He's still interested. Anyway, long story short is, if we end up taking some of this material, ultimately we would need to commission some work for it. And I don't know if there's something that could be used from the capital budget request with arts and public places to sort of come up with this. I know I'm kind of throwing this to you relatively last minute, but we could either store it until next year or possibly do something in the shorter term if you think that.
Mark, did they give you a timeline from when we can get the materials?
No, not as yet. I was going to ask them on Friday. This was something that I worked on 2 years ago. So they came back to me I was really surprised that they had remembered, quite frankly.
Yeah. I thought it was dead in the water.
Yeah. We thought that, but
Brian,
was great.
my wheels are spinning about incorporating it somehow into like the Ely Avenue fence if we can get it in time. I think that would be cool. We
Yeah.
also have accessibility to some storage in the basement of the Yankee Doodle garage.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's empty in there. It's literally just concrete floor. The ceilings aren't super high, like they're probably like 10, 12 feet. But we can definitely utilize that to store some additional stuff if we need to.
No, this is great. Yeah, I mean, I know there's been I've heard of, I'll have to do some digging, but I've heard of other initiatives from other cities where I know specifically when they were tearing down Confederate monuments, they were taking material, melting it down, giving that material to people to do something new with it. So like there has been some other projects like this. That's obviously a very different conversation, but where they sort of have material that's like from something that gets then distributed out, and it's kind of just a little bit of a free for all in the ones I've seen in the past. But it's also very cool because you kind of see all these different ways in which people use this stuff. I know I can think of a couple other sculptors locally and even semi-locally in Milford and things like that that work big and work in metal too. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of talent around that I think could do a lot with it. So it's really great to hear that they're back.
Yeah.
Mark, when is that walkthrough?
They asked me for Friday at 11. I'm trying to get them to do it at noon, but I haven't heard back yet. So it's going to be.
I'm around, so let me know
If it's
either way.
at-
I'm around. I can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's at noon, I'd love to go.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are welcome to join.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. I think we're now sliding over to Bob's update. Bob, you good on your other call, or you got time to talk to us?
I am so sorry about that, guys.
It's all good.
I work with other countries and stuff, and they're, you know, it's 4 o'clock there, so they don't care if it's 20 and 7 here. So, as fate would have it, my call's running longer, but yeah, I can share. So just to give everyone an update, I'm part of this Artist Guild in Norwalk, and we participate in the Traffic Box program in Norwalk. I had presented last year that went to vote, a design. Whoever was in the committee last year voted for it. And the person that designed the box is no longer with the group. And I didn't feel like the design was that relevant. So I'll show you what was approved last year, and then I'm going to present a new design. And I'm hoping you guys will approve it. So this is what was approved last year. And I guess these are birds of New England, like maritime birds.
Yeah.
You guys remember this, right? So that's kind of like what the box looked like. That's the flat one. Okay. So I'm presenting, this one's my design. So using kind of the style of what I do in abstraction, but I wanted to do a message, and on each panel, I use the word love, but it actually can be a word that if we come up with, we want to do a different one, we can. So this would be like flat. Okay.
Yep.
And you know, I could also do it where there's a word on each panel this way. So that's an option. But I kind of tend to like this one, right? And I feel like it creates curiosity, because you may only see one letter, but as you're kind of like driving, not to cause accidents, but you're going to have to, as you drive, because it's in the center of like an island, this box. So
Is this the one on Wall Street?
yeah.
No, you're repainting that one?
Not Wall Street. It's
Cross
Main Avenue and Cross Street. So if you're going, you know, that Global gas station is, like as you're coming down. Wall
Oh,
Street.
yeah.
It's right in the center of the island.
Yeah, it's
That's the one Tony Mobilia had done, right, originally?
exactly. This is
The
the
location.
Tony Mobilia. Yep. So the background is going to be, you know, what you're seeing here, like colorful,
Yeah.
some kind of vibrant fluorescence, and then just a single letter on each panel.
I mean, I say whichever design you want to present is the one, you know, we should vote on. I'm always, you know, the one advocating for letting artists do what they want to do. So
Well, this is the one. So this the one I have.
there we go.
I'm advocating for. So
There we go. Just throw that other one away. Let's not even talk about it.
yeah. All right. So there you go. Well, look, I like to give options just in case someone says, "Oh, I'm tired of seeing the word love," you know.
Does anyone have any questions or anything for Bob here on this before we motion to vote?
I like it. I think it's very colorful and obviously positive, and I like it.
You know me, the less maritime murals we have in the city,
You
I'm
were
all for
so
it.
jazzed about the last one, Brian. So
So pumped.
I've done all the legwork on this damn thing. So many hours was put in to try to get this thing approved, and I had to get a check through St. Philip's Church. And at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm going to be the guy painting this thing because I can't get
Yeah.
anyone to help me. And I'm like, shit, I'm going to paint somebody else's design. Heck with that. I'm going to come up with my own design. So
Yeah. I
hopefully,
like it. It
Well,
looks
this is
like there's
better.
glitter.
This is better than the birds. I do have a question about its location, just so I am understanding it. Because down there you have the rainbow crosswalk, and you have the building being torn down, then you have the art cafe. Where
it's not over there. So if you were to keep going down Main Street, and then you know where like the McDonald's and the auto zone is there, you could take a
oh, yes.
yeah, you take a right there, and then when you get to the next main intersection, whether you have Main Avenue and the Post Road right there, it's on the island right at that section. Like you can get down to Wall Street through that way.
Okay. Is that the entrance, is that considered an entrance to any of our districts? Is what I'm like the Wall Street district or something like that?
I think it's on the outskirts of
Yeah, technically just outside, I think.
just outside Walls. It's like 1 block down from Wall Street.
So I know how
Yeah.
you've got the word love, and I was just like, well, what if we changed it to wall and then made like a little bitty green street sign underneath the bottom that said street or something, just
Mm.
something that'd be kind of cool delineating the area. But I mean, it's great design.
Yeah,
The only other thing I was thinking of adding is all you need is on each panel, and it's like love, but then maybe that's getting too kitschy.
yeah,
I'm a Beatles fan, right?
yeah. Yeah, I like Melissa's idea, but I don't know that that's, I mean, it could say MAIN or West.
There's definitely boxes right on Wall Street where we can
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thinking like
which is a whole other thing we need to open that conversation again eventually, is revamping this whole program, because it's sort of, it's
Yeah.
faded off into the background.
and we
Yeah.
want this program to be more done by the Arts and Cultural Commission.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
the goal. Well, I feel good about this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Me too.
Um,
Does anyone have, we have a motion to vote for this, already approved location updated design?
This is Melissa. I have a motion to approve the design in the same location.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'll
We
second
have
that.
Thank you,
second that.
Mark. Thank you,
Yeah,
Melissa.
wholeheartedly, yeah.
Okay, quickly through roll call, Brian Cass, I vote aye. Mark Allen,
Aye.
Melissa Matuska,
Aye.
Stephen Rust, you still here?
Aye. Yep.
Mark Allen. Oh wait, I'm sorry, Bob Abriola.
I think I have to abstain, don't I? Because I'm presenting, or no?
Yes.
Technically, it's probably in your best interest.
Yes.
And no, I guess Nori Gruden, right? We have Nori
Aye.
left. Excellent. Well, the ayes carry. Excellent, Bob. I'm excited to add
Thank
another
you.
box to the
Thank you.
mix.
Thank you. I'll do you proud. It'll look good.
Yeah, and I think honestly, yeah, like I said, if this is the design you want to do and you want to do love, let's do love, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All you need is love, brother.
I mean, I don't know about the Beatles stuff, but that's on
It's
you.
a Vol.
What
All
about
right.
tuna?
Thank you.
Math test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is it for our agenda. Let me just double check that. Old business. Yep, this is old business
so-
and adjournment.
I will email everybody about the confirmed meeting on Friday, and then
Yeah.
Brian and Sabrina, I'll talk to you guys offline if you want about any possibility for, turning this into something.
Yeah, for sure. And the equity statement too. I think it'd be
will.
good to start when you have something. I don't want to, don't jump the gun if you're,
I wanted to
You don't
run it
quite
through
have it.
Erica because I think she's just a
Yeah.
valuable resource.
I agree. Okay, cool. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, Brian, I just have
Yeah.
one thing.
Sorry. Yeah, go
Um,
ahead, Nori.
with the vines, I think it's called the grapevine. And just putting that on the agenda next time, because there's some questions I have about removing it. Because of things I've read
Yeah.
that were written like 10 years ago when it was putting up.
Okay,
So if we could
Yeah,
add that to
let's-
the agenda,
for next meeting. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's something that I also want to see that. I would really like to see that project done this coming summer if we can.
Yeah,
But
I'm just worried if that redevelopment has jurisdiction over that and what the writing was when they signed the contract with that guy,
okay, yeah.
just to,
Yeah,
See if we
let's,
could- and
maybe
also-
before next meeting too, let's look into it a little bit. You want, just drop me an email. Let's chat about it and see what we can dig up.
okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
This is Melissa. I motion to adjourn.
Thank
I'll
you, Melissa.
second.
Do a second. Thank you, Mark. Brian Casper, vote aye. Bob Abriola,
Aye.
Mark Allen,
Aye.
Melissa Matuska,
Aye.
Stephen Rust,
Aye.
and Nori Gruden.
Aye.
The ayes carry. I'll see you all next month.
Talk
Keep
to
it
you
real.
later.
Aye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, Heather. Thank you.